Alrighty. Hi there, guys and gals. We're gonna watch a video online actually that I think is pretty good, but I want to expand it. So I'm gonna play it with you and I'm gonna add some information, okay? Because we're gonna be looking at this video that says how to take great notes. This video is going to describe taking notes in class. However, what I want you to do is I want you to think about how we could use these same skills when we are watching an ELAB or when we are reading an article or when we are reading something informational. How can we do that? So I want you to look at that and use these same skills of taking great notes, um, not just for an in-class experience, but also more importantly, for when you're doing your own independent learning, either via an ELAB or a video you find out online, or even a novel that you're reading. How can we expand that? So I'm going to start this for us. Go ahead and watch it, and I'm going to pause this along the way, okay? So I'm going to make this full screen, and here we go.
The average student takes notes at a rate of 1/3 of a word per second. The average teacher speaks about 2 to 3 words per second. Bottom line, if you're trying to copy down everything your teacher is saying while he drones on about Shakespeare, you're going to fall seriously behind. Note taking is an important skill in and out of school. It can make the difference between passing and failing a test, excelling at a job, or even enjoying a complicated movie.
Okay, so I want to pause there. It says even watching and understanding a complicated movie. So the reality is we don't always take notes in a written fashion. Sometimes we just take mental note. Have you heard that? Have you ever noted something or taken mental note? So it's a process in which we refer to stuff or understand the world in general, the way that we note take or the way that we take note of something, whether we physically write it down, which does improve our learning. It is significantly better if you write notes on anything that you're trying to learn about. But even if we do the same process mentally. Now, in the beginning of the video, it mentioned how much faster teachers speak in comparison to how you can write. Well, what if I'm reading something? I can read something really slowly, right? However, what's the point of rewriting an entire text that you read? You would just read the original text. I'm not going to memorize anything in the same way that I'm not going to learn everything if I just try to write down what a teacher says. In the exact same way, if you try to take notes on a book or a reading that any facilitator or any professor gives you, or that you ever come across in life, or a book that's complicated to you, you're never going to be able to cover it all. Okay? So I want you to think about when you're reading something that's written, there's something that you should do other than rewriting everything. That's not going to help you memorize, or at least it's not going to help you understand. So pay attention and see what the video suggests that you do. Again, not just for a situation in which you're sitting inside of a classroom, which might be some small part of your life and more of your life right now, but in the future, when you do all of the independent learning I hope that you do in your life on any subject matter that you're interested in, how can you use these same skills that the video suggests? So let's keep watching.
And most of us don't do it well. Welcome to Wellcast. We took a viewer suggestion for this week's episode, the art of note taking. We're going to give you a 3-step method for taking notes that will actually help you learn.
Yay!
Numerous studies over the years have proven what's already pretty obvious. People who take notes remember the material better than those who don't. But how much better? A 1970 study by developmental psychologist Michael Howe found that students were 7 times more likely to remember facts 1 week after hearing them if they took notes. But
So I want to just stop there and suggest that whenever there's a material that you don't immediately understand, that you take notes. But in addition, even if you think you get it, often we conceptually understand a concept, like when you're sitting in a math class and the teacher explains something and it makes sense to you so long as they're teaching it to you, but then you go home and suddenly it doesn't make sense. Taking notes is a great way to enter the recall of our mind, okay? We have to build up a lot of interactions between different parts of our brain in order to remember information, in order to be able to recall that, right? Think about trying to find a file on your computer. If you don't know what it's called, it's really hard to find it, okay? In the same way, you need to make those same links in your brain, and note taking does that. So even if you think you understand a material, to help you remember it, so you don't have to do tons and tons of separate studying, but the note taking can become studying itself, I suggest that you take notes and take them well.
Here's the thing, most people don't know how to take notes. We're taught from a very young age that when a teacher starts delivering a load of information, for example, Shakespeare described Romeo and Juliet's love as star-crossed,
P.S. I never sound like that.
we should start writing down as much as what they're saying as possible. Phew! Well, this is an incredibly inefficient way to take notes. Why? You're not actually learning anything. You're simply acting as a human audio recorder. A recorder, by the way, that only picks up 1 out of every 10 words. And you're saving the learning for later, when you'll have an even less complete lesson plan to look over. Note taking
Another reason why e-labs are great, you can re-watch the video.
should actually act as a form of learning.
Note taking should act as an act of learning, meaning the way that you can take notes can actually help you learn, help you comprehend. So I want you to see how they suggest doing that. And again, consider how you could do that outside of a classroom.
Something that helps you work your way through the lesson as the teacher is giving it, so that when you leave the classroom, you already understand the concepts. So how do you do that? We have a 3-step method for taking the kind of notes that force you to learn the material inside the classroom and not out. Pause and print this sheet and put it in your binder. Ready?
Okay, I'm going to show you where to find this, because if you click on it, it won't work. I'm going to provide it for you in your eLab folder. But if you come to here, this URL that you see me scrolling over, down here it says this week's worksheet, and it'll take you to a page like this. I don't think you really need to print this out. It's short, but it does give you some suggestions, okay? So note taking, use this handy guide to help you take notes. Format your notes as a series of questions, fill in your own answers. You'll see this. You don't really need to print this out, but I just wanted to let you know where to find it.
For your next class. Finished? Okay, let's go. Step 1, don't write down facts. Write down conclusions. Don't worry about capturing every single thing your teacher is saying. Spend more time listening and trying to understand the lecture. When you do,
the same is true when you read. It is not important to write the entire time that you read. That would be exhausting. Read a section and then go back and take some notes. I was a professional note taker in college, meaning I got paid for my notes that I took in class, and people would be amazed how I would listen for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, an extended period of time within a class time, and not take any notes whatsoever. I would just sit and listen, and then I would write a whole bunch of information relatively quickly, but only exercising the most important information. That's the process in which you need to do. The same occurs with reading. Read a section and then pull out the most important information. We're going to practice that. All right, we got to get through this. Let's go.
start writing, format your notes as a series of questions posed by the teacher's lecture. Fill in your own answers. For example, question: what is the central theme in Romeo and Juliet? Conclusion: more than being a tragic love story, Romeo and Juliet is about the consequences of deeply held grudges. This way, you're recording the importance of what the teacher is saying and not just raw facts. When you do need to include data, add only the most important points under each question. This is the evidence for each question's answer. Step 2. Use colored pens. Yeah, that's right. This will help you remember your notes visually.
If you're typing your notes, use colored typing.
Also, if you establish a set template for your notes, you'll be able to take them more efficiently. Write questions in red and definitions in blue, conclusions in green. Step 3, review your notes. Don't relearn them. Spend at least 10 minutes organizing your notes after class. If you want to test your comprehension, try teaching the material to a classmate. This will be a great marker to see if you've actually learned anything. Note take.
Now, comment. It's really hard to organize your notes when they're handwritten. You can't rearrange them, that would be hard to do. That's why I had to sit so long and listen in class, because I had to think about how am I going to arrange it. When you take notes on the computer, like most of you will be doing, you can rearrange the notes as you need to, which is really helpful. And you can change the color and color code it and all kinds of stuff, which would be great and can help you understand the material. In addition, you might not always have a classmate to teach to, but you can teach your younger sibling, your mom, your dad. They would be fascinated to hear what you want to teach them.
Taking is a valuable life skill that doesn't lose its utility when you graduate.
Nope.
Find ways to integrate note taking in your daily life. You'll soon find yourself in the exclusive and creative group of people who bring out their moleskins at lectures, movies, and TED Talks. All right, Wellcasters, let's recap. Today we learned how to take notes in a way that ensures you learn the material during class time and not after. First, write down your conclusions instead of a barrage of facts. Second, use your questions to make connections. And third, spend 10 minutes going over these notes at the end of class, and if you should choose, try going over these notes by teaching them to a classmate or a friend. Hey, who was that lady? Okay. Did these tips help?
Alrighty. That was enough of this video. Okay, so quickly, we need to go through and we need to see how we can do this with a text. So I'm going to go back to the article that we read. For those of you who had me for class, these two paragraphs of like crazy, right? And I'm going to pull up here. You're distracting me. Oops, sorry. How I can take notes on these two paragraphs. Okay? So, I got out my nice little Word. And we've luckily already read this, but if you haven't read it, pause the video and reread the paragraphs, okay? Now, I'm going to pose some questions. I know that this is about, so I'm going to say, first of all, what are these paragraphs about? Well, what are they about? I know that they are about, oh, what's talking to me?
You can't be there for your kids 24/7. That's why Lysol has...
Why are you yelling at me? Sorry, guys. All right, let's make that small again. Okay. And how are we doing on time? All right, so we know that these paragraphs are about the languages of Mesoamerican Indians. Okay. Let's ask some other questions. How many languages are there in Mesoamerica? Well, we know many. You guys helped me learn these. We can try to find some. So we know that there's 3 linguistic groups. We'll say many, 3 groups. And the nice thing again too, when you're reading something online, is you can copy and paste, but you really want to be sure that you can understand them. That's why you always want to review. There's 3 groups. Okay. Are these languages still spoken? Nope. Most are extinct. Okay, this is just a mini practice of how you can do the same process in taking notes with readings. I want you to consider this for all of the text that you need to read for your project and in your own life. Use the same strategies in all of your individual learning and you will do great. Good luck!